the stars and the satellites. Yeah, I can tell looking in your eyes. It's crashing in and it all feels like the future's fading out of focus, fading like the colors off a movie poster. It's slipping through your fingers, no, you can't control it. You thought it was a drive, but it's a roller coaster, coaster. Yeah, up and then down again. The universe expands. Watch as it explodes, moving through it slowly, moving through it slowly. We got some time to kill. Sometimes it gets too real. Trying to figure out what it all means. With the cigarette in the morning, you know I'm casing still. My mind has got no chill. Waking up, praying on my knees. With the cigarette in the morning. Yeah, this is what it feels like, drowning in the ocean. Fuck your education, baby, get with your emotions. This is what it feels like, sleeping in the matrix. Waking up again, you just gonna do all the same shit.
Hello, hello.
Matthew Alexander Max Frost.
What's going on?
Look at you. How are you doing? Look at that beautiful room you got there.
I love the way you say that name with your accent like that. It's like this crisp, like we're about to, yeah, that was great.
Well, you know,
Like we were about to duel or something.
we just call it as we see it. But, you know, yeah, and the room you're in, it looks like a production/tool room as well. So beautiful room there.
That is what it is. This is music making room.
I love it. I love it, Max. You know, I was listening to Erykah Badu over the weekend, Max.
Yeah.
On and On came on, and I ended up on this rabbit hole of her music, but she's someone that really inspired you to some point, right, Max?
Oh yeah. Man. Oh my God. I mean that. Yeah. Because Erykah Badu. Well, first of all, I think the way that I sort of like secretly learned to sing in my car, just singing her songs, because the way that she controls her vibrato, you can learn her music driving in your car. And if you can sing harmony to Erykah Badu and match her pitch shift where she does her slow vibrato,
Right.
gives you, that trains something different in you to learn to do that. Like, in fact, I think it was a good friend of mine, a singer, Sasha Ortiz, who was in the first band I was ever in like high school, who told me to do that. She's like, you should just learn to sing harmony to these songs and then you could sing.
Okay, like a hack.
Yeah, because it's the way that Erykah Badu doesn't vibrato. Everyone else's vibrato is like, oh, but hers is like,
Right.
this like slow thing that to get that control and also the music's just amazing. I mean, she's one of the most special artists that we ever got, I think.
And she's like you, Max, you know, like, I mean, you got the groove going, you do, you know, and it's a sexy groove, and she's got the sexy groove, so, you know.
She's on another level, man, Erykah Badu. I've never met Erykah Badu. I would be legitimately, there are few people in this world that I think, it's not about fame, it's about their brain. It's not starstruck, I'd be brain struck. Like
Brainstruck.
that brain.
Right.
She's one of the short list of people where I would just be like, I don't know what to say right now. That's it.
Max. See, that's why you give us a different perspective. That's why we love it, Max. But let me ask you this, Max. When we were researching kind of like, you know, for this interview and preparing to talk to you, I couldn't believe, you know, in 30 years of your life, Max, how much you've lived. It's almost like I was talking to, like, when I prepare for like a legacy act, like a Hall of Famers in their 70s or their 80s. Yeah. It's fascinating how interesting and full your life has been. Do you ever stop and think of that sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I just got started early. And what's funny is most of it, and I'm sure the same is true for your life, most of the crazy things that happen are really not even documented, or there's no proof that they're true.
Right.
They happen and they're just in your head, and all of a sudden something will remind you of that. Well, especially now, I mean, I'm 31 now, and I have moments where I'm like, oh yeah, that happened the other day. And I'm like, oh no, wait, that was 7 years ago.
Oh my God.
I can't imagine as I get older starting to think back on stuff where I'm like, and now I've also lived into, you know, sort of like the third age of the music business since I was around, you know, like I got into the business when it was iTunes and there was not really Spotify, and Instagram was still a place where you'd post a super filtered picture of your food that night, and then it became this other thing, and it became Spotify, and that was a whole era. And now we're like in the, I don't know what to call this, surreal postmodern TikTok era of art and music business, but we're now in a totally different world for sure.
And I am so glad that you brought that up, Max, because when I think about like your longevity in the industry, you know, you've always been able to jump from the music taste to what works, what doesn't, and you've always been able to stay relevant. I'll give you an example. Right now, you are like a shining example, I think, of how a musician should work TikTok. Like, you just know, you go to a bowling alley to show how you make music videos. You show, like, you know, getting ready to go to, like, you know, Kelly and Regis or whatever, and you get wet in the bathroom. It's like you stay nimble on top of trends. Where did this come from? Did it come from your family in Austin, Max? Like, just kind of like knowing, like, to flow like the water.
It's funny, I never thought about this until you just asked me that in that way. That so my mom actually did own a production company when I was a kid. It was called Granite House, and she was, you know, they were making some stuff for like HGTV. Like, they made us one of the seasons of Dream House. I don't know if you remember that show.
Oh my God.
I was definitely around a lot of, like, my mom literally in the backyard, there was a little room where there was people in there editing and stuff and making. I never really thought about this. This is so strange. But yeah, I guess I was kind of exposed to that early on. But I didn't come around to actually learning Premiere Pro myself until 2020, when I had nothing but time on my hands and a pandemic and a new platform that, to me, it's been exciting. I wasn't very good at the it's just pictures age of Instagram. I suck.
Sure.
I didn't know what to do. What do I stand in front of a wall? I would just go stand in front of a wall in an outfit that I liked, and that was pretty much my habit. But now that there's actually a more, you know, three-dimensional space where you can make entertainment for people, you know, that's been a blast for me, because I like to make videos. I love movies. I like TV. You know, that's, to me, is more fun. And you have so many different ways you can come at it, because it used to be like, post a picture and pretend like you don't care and make the caption something like you really just didn't even think about it, and you're just so cool and you just put it up and whatnot. I was bad at that because I do care, and I'm not that cool, and I'm trying to find a way to, I want something to be funny to me and entertaining to me that I hope is entertaining to other people.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I guess it just came from, like, I don't know. To me, it's a blast that we get to do that now. I'm glad it's a video. I mean, it had to go there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm curious, I don't know where it goes from here, but even as we're having this conversation, it's like re-inspiring me. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to just start making like little short films and putting them up on TikTok or something. You know, like I need to just kind of do, you know, what's the craziest out there thing? Have you seen this guy, the Baron, the something Baron, the writer on TikTok who he lives in Austin now? Have you seen this guy?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, this guy's incredible.
Really?
His name is, let me look him up. Baron Ryan.
Baron Ryan. Okay.
He has almost 3 million followers in this thing. This guy is like our Woody Allen. This guy is a genius.
I'll check him out for sure.
He's a genius. You have to go. His writing is incredible, and the way he shoots, he's literally making short films, but they're like so deep and psychological and philosophical. It's like he's a genius. But
yeah, but what you're saying makes total sense there, Max. Because I mean, just listening to Shelby Avenue Part 1, by the way, which comes out in February, had a chance to preview it. It is like everything you've painted, your music videos from the past and this new EP. It's like a cinematic experience. It's almost like, I don't even know if you realized it, but it's not just like a sonic experience. You almost like take us into these great worlds. You have like it's great.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah, I hadn't really. It's funny, in a good way, the way things are happening right now. I'm not. It's happening quick enough. Like the music's being made and then being put out fast enough, where I don't really have time to. I'm not really processing it that much anymore. And I think that's good because I didn't love making music and then waiting years for it to come out. Because by the time, now it's literally like the song I'm putting out this Friday, I made months ago.
Wow.
It's actually it feels more fresh to me like that.
Sure.
that's a testament to the technology and the way things are moving in the business being a benefit to artists who make their stuff, because you can have I don't know, it feels like a more direct conversation. Like I can make something and put it out, and this is the update on my life right now, instead of, here's the update on where my life was at 2 years ago when I made this, and now that we're through the process of being ready to put it out, here it is. It's like, no, here it is. Here's where I'm at.
Totally.
Well, there's a directness on the timing of that.
Totally.
But I like this music. And
by the way, Max, no, you're right. I mean, you do such a killer job with it, man. But you recently moved to Nashville, and you're from Austin, and you lived in LA also. So if anybody knows musical cities, it's Max Frost. How's the move to Nashville been? Are you happy?
Yeah. I needed to go somewhere else, man. I needed to. This is a small town. There's good people here. I feel like I have community for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
LA was kind of a Siberia for me for a long list of reasons, but I liked the weather there. It's a great place. I have some great friends there, but it was just, I felt kind of isolated there in a strange way, just culturally. It was a little too, it wasn't, and I never wanted to live there. I really never wanted to live there.
Right.
But Nashville is just amazing. I mean, I think that this is like, it reminds me of Austin back when I was like in high school. It reminds me of Austin like a decade ago.
Yeah.
Feels like an exciting place. It's an up and coming place. It has seasons. I'm looking out my window right now and there's fall leaves. That doesn't exist in Los Angeles. There aren't.
Right.
So it's been amazing. And musically and creatively, it's just been like, by myself feeling at home here, I feel closer to whatever the origin source is for me creatively. Like I just feel more relaxed and to be honest and just make the stuff that I like instead of
But I'm with you. I think there's a sense of like rising water lifts all boats here a little bit amongst artists. There's like a friendly competition. So I'm with you there, Max. Max, I gotta ask you a little bit about Good Morning, if you will indulge me for a second, because that song, I mean, when it exploded, I mean, obviously it was in Grey's Anatomy, it was in Shameless, it was on ESPN commercials, Pepsi commercials, the whole 9 yards, man. You couldn't escape the song. I mean, it was an instant classic, Max. When this happened, were you almost taken aback at like how much it just kind of like went everywhere in pop culture?
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, I really did not even want to finish working on that song. I did not, for whatever reason, I don't know what anything is when I make read. Like I had no. We started that. So this is a good friend of mine named Augie Ray, who I was working all the time. I would drive out to his studio in Chatsworth, and we would just throw ideas at the wall all the time. And he starts making this beat, and I literally remember saying to him, "Yeah, that's cool, man, but this isn't something that I could do anything on." It just, honestly, it felt like too much of like a hip hop record. I was like, what am I going to do on this? I can't even. I mean, he pushed me. He's like, no, just try it. Just try. And so I get in a booth and I just kind of start, making up a song. And I thought, this is really bad. This is a really bad song. We should not listen to this.
Wow. That goes to show you.
About it. He's like, no, man. He's like, that's really good. Well, double this. And but he was pushing me to keep going. And even after we kind of had a little demo of it, he pushed me. So at the time, Fitz from Fitz and The Tantrums was my A&R guy for that record, which that's a whole other long story, right? But he is a good friend of mine. And he basically had ended up being the sort of my go-between with the label, which is actually a very rare situation, but kind of a way that it probably should be more often. I think more artists should be involved in other artists' projects, I think, on labels. I think that's a good idea. But in this case, I didn't even want to play it for him. Because the thing Fitz had been saying to me all the time was, you have to stop doing all this blues. You're doing too much blues stuff all the time. And I knew that song was blues. I mean, it was literally like, that's like a blues riff.
Right.
And I didn't even want to play it for him. And Augie kept being like, dude, I'm telling you, he's going to I'm like, Augie, he's going to hate this. I'm not going to play him this song. We're at his house. We're listening to some stuff. I'm like, yeah, there's another thing I did with Augie. You should check it out and play it. And I'm expecting him to turn to me and be like, yeah,
like I said, no more blues.
yeah, like what else you got? What else you got?
Right.
But really, as a testament to Fitz's perspective and awareness and intelligence on music, which is why he's been so successful, I play it for him, and he's like, play that again. And play it again. And he turns to me and he starts being like, he's like, I don't know if this is a hit or not, but this is going to be in everything. He's like, this song is a sink gold mine. And I'm like,
right.
Serious? I'm like, no, it's not. This is, I just didn't know what it was. So yeah, it was a shock to me. It was a shock to me that he even liked it. It was a shock to me that the label liked it. It was every time at this point, I'm kind of used to hearing it and stuff where I'm like, hey, I get it now. I don't know how I missed that,
That's crazy.
It's like,
so Max, in other words, when you start a new project and you're obviously trying to make songs that resonate with people, you can't just say like, okay, like, Good Morning or White Lies or Adderall, like this song's had this element, I'm going to kind of like copy that. It is a little bit just like destiny, isn't it?
yeah, I guess. And it's really, I have to accept and remind myself, and I actively am right now, that I have no clue. I have no clue what's good and what's bad. Whatever I probably think is the best thing I've made is probably the worst thing I've made. And the thing that I don't want to play for you that I think is terrible is probably actually the thing that's going to, that generally seems to be the case. That the stuff that I'm like, no, that's not a good idea, is the right idea. I mean, it reminds me of this clip I saw of David Bowie talking about that wherever an artist is comfortable is probably not their stuff. It's when they're just past where they can't quite put their feet on the ground in the water. They're just in over their head and they're not quite comfortable. And it's hard to find that place again and again. That's kind of the constant journey of it. I mean, you say destiny, but in a way, it's almost like you have to push yourself into some kind of really uncomfortable place, emotionally or creatively, to find that stuff. And that's kind of the strange pursuit of where I'm at now. I think I've got a song on this project that's that.
Yeah, I think you have several.
I think that song Ghost is that one because I really was not comfortable making that song. And I really put that song on a list of songs purely as I wanted to have more songs in the list. Did not expect anyone to respond or say, you should put this out. And everybody has been very into it. So that song's not out yet, but we'll see. That's the one I think, that's the one that gives me that feeling of like, I'm not comfortable with this. You know what I mean? Like I'm embarrassed of.
Sure. Just that nice little zone of uncomfortableness where you grow.
Yeah, it's hard to even call it nice. It's just uncomfortable. I love it.
I love it, Max. Well, listen, you got a lot to do, and I do want to play a little game before I let you go. But let me ask you really quickly about this experience you had. I know your older brother's a firefighter in Austin, and you cooked chicken parm and like season. You had this incredible like cooking experience for like a whole lot of firefighters. What was the occasion? Like, are you a good cook? Because like it looked amazing. You cooked for like a battalion of firefighters there in Texas.
That it was an occasion that I happened to be in town. It was ACL weekend. I wasn't going to go to the festival. I was with a friend of mine, and I just love going over there and doing that. Anytime I get the chance to go hang out at that station and be with my brother and be with those guys, that's a special place, man. It's just that those guys are living in a on the edge of harsh realities we don't want to even think about, and but for it, they're just the most real salt of the earth people, and I just love spending time there. And so and also my brother's a terrible cook. He's a lazy cook. He doesn't want to, and so they're always upset when it's his turn. So I'm always like, hey, when it's Mark's turn, I'll come and do it instead, and so it's always a pleasure. But it's also, that's a lot of, man, that was actually the best I'd done at it as far as just not being overwhelmed. And luckily my sister and a few people turned up to help out. But when I showed up with those groceries, it was 5 o'clock, and I was like, I am not going to have this done in time, but this will not. Because it's just
for a bunch of hungry firefighters.
You're a one-man catering team at that point. Also, because if you're smart, you don't make something that involved. You go buy pre-made chicken Parmesan and you heat it up in the oven. You don't sit there and like flatten the chicken and do all that. But, I dug myself into a ditch, and luckily they were there to help and get me out because I needed hands on deck.
Amazing, Max.
It was a
Well, man, loved having you. Let me take you out with this. We have a little game on our show. We don't bring it out. We only bring it out for special occasions. It's called Flip the Tune. The way it works is we play 3 of your songs, 10-second clips. 10-second clips, 3 of them in reverse. And we just want to know how well do you know your songs if we play them in reverse.
That's a brilliant game. Okay, I have no idea what kind of success I'll have.
All right, so let's finish off with this strong. It's a very popular game. People are going to be excited to hear your stuff in this. So let's go with the first one, Max. All right, so Flip the Tune with Max Frost, and away we go. All right. What do you got, Max?
That was Good Morning, but it's so strange to hear it. That wasn't changed.
Nope.
That was just in reverse.
As is.
Oh, man, that sounded crazy. It sounded like I was whispering a curse.
All right. Let's go with the second one. But so far, great start, Max. And away we go.
I don't know what that was. I do not know what song that was.
That is Sing in the Morning.
Yeah. Wow.
Does that make sense?
Oh, I guess. But yeah, when you hear it reverse, it literally sounds like a completely different song.
Well, Max, a lot of pressure here. Game 7, 1-1. You can't go under 500 here for the last one. All right. Here we go, Max, for the winning score. And away we go.
What? I have no clue.
That is Sing in the Morning.
Oh, it's the same song. Because the first one, I was like, okay, there were just little sounds like the choir and stuff. I was like, okay, that has to be Good Morning. But the other ones, I would tell you that's not my song.
Well, if it makes you feel better, that seems to be par for the course. Yeah,
People get it, right?
yeah, people don't get it. So
Yeah, that's a really fun game. Look, that's a good idea.
Absolutely. Well, Max Frost, listen, you've said it all for today. It's been a pleasure. So glad you're in Nashville, bringing your light, your art, and so thrilled for the success that you have ahead of you.
Dude, thank you so much for having me, sir.
Absolutely. Take care, Max.